So here's the deal. Clearly, I am a woman who chooses to wear hijab. And just in case that wasn't clear, I do choose to wear hijab. So here's the thing. I'm really sick and tired of people telling women that they have to wear hijab and criticizing women on their hijab and saying, this is too flashy, this is too fancy, you've replaced your hair with hijab, so what's the point? And boiling down the complexities of faith into what I wear on my adorable head. Where's my 70 excuses? I want you to list them all out and send them to me so that I can review them for excuse acceptability purposes. Hijab is difficult. I don't know if you realize this. Hijab is difficult to wear. If you weren't born Muslim, if you're not from a culture where veiling is popular, it's really, really difficult. I love hijab. I was a culturally and religiously insensitive little shit and started wearing hijab before I converted, but it's still hard. If you add into that a cultural crisis that can happen, who am I culturally? Because my home culture, which I am not in any way required to give up when converting to Islam, it doesn't have veiling in it. It's highly unusual. It makes me stand out. It makes me a target. It marks me as an outcast from the very people that I grew up around. It says this person is different. This person adheres to a faith that there's a butt ton of misinformation about, and this person is suspicious. It opens me up to not only verbal attacks and harassment, but physical attacks and harassment. I've lost jobs because even though I was the one fixing the mistake, I was still the one blamed for it. And people have made up lies in order to get me fired. And if you add to this the assumption that a woman who is not covered is not pure, a woman who is not covered is not modest, is not chaste, is not Muslim, is not good. If you add into this stupid assumption that you either choose between veiling and heaven or not veiling and hell, you're pushing women away from veiling. When you harp on us about veiling, it pushes us away from it. The more that I hear men, some women, bitching about what I wear on my head, about how my hijab is not right, is not real hijab, the less I want to wear it. The more I want to be just like, well, screw this. Obviously nothing I ever do is right, so why even try at all? It pushes women away from hijab, which is the exact opposite of what you want. Personally, I don't care if a woman wears hijab or not, because it's none of my business. That's between her, and that's between God. Her and God. I don't know her story. I don't know if she's lost friends, family, jobs, homes because of hijab. I don't know if she has an internal crisis that she's going through. I don't know if maybe she was forced to veil before and now and is associating with hijab with that force, and it's thus a negative thing for her, so she's avoiding it. I don't know if she wants to veil but just hasn't come up with the courage. I don't know her story, so I can't even begin to judge her. Islam is complex. There's evidence for hijab. This hijab there's evidence against it. Your interpretations of Islam, not necessarily everybody else's. And for you to sit there and tell somebody without knowing them, without knowing their struggles, without knowing why they are or are not veiling, that they're wrong, that they don't know their faith, that you've done research so that your views are now the most authentic, the only acceptable views. I don't know if you realize this, but when you do this to women, when you boil down our Islam, our faith, to what we wear, that is so insulting. That is so rude. Why would you do that? It's not a choice between covered in heaven and uncovered in hell, because I know a lot of deeply pious women who don't cover. I know a lot of non-pious women who do, who are judgmental and backbiting and hateful, but they cover. They fulfill the outer criteria of piety. So they're cool? That makes absolutely no sense. Islam is about more than what we wear. And whether or not the style of hijab that a woman wears fits your modesty requirements, it doesn't mean that you can just go up to her and say, you're wrong, you need to learn more about your faith, and you need to take off that hijab, you may as well not be wearing it. Hijab is a process. It's tough. I don't know how to get this through to you. I spent a year unemployed, going to interviews and dropping off and picking up applications in my hijab. Nothing. I made the very difficult choice to take off my hijab for an interview, and I got the job. There's a correlation there. I'm not saying it's a cause. Correlation is not causation, but there's a strong correlation there that I took off my hijab and I got a job. The discrimination, the mockery is rampant, and I don't judge any woman who chooses not to wear hijab, because I've had people follow me because of it. I've had people in cars slow down to shout out slurs against me. I have been afraid of people approaching me and trying to physically harm me because of what I wear on my head. I go through mini crises once a month. Should I be wearing hijab? It's not my culture. It makes me feel weird sometimes.